Okay, so let us start our lecture again. Let us continue on the subject of cybersecurity and laws. So here we are going to start with module number 4, which is on the concept of the cyberspace. Just a second. Okay. Yogesh, yeah. So I was speaking.
Yes, sir.
Can you just please turn off your mic, please? Yeah. Uh, Yeah. So I was speaking, let us start with model number 4, which is on the concept of the cyberspace. Now, what is the cyberspace? Cyberspace is a technical term whenever we make use of a computers and electronic medium of communication using computer networks broadly, right? So this topic I will be going a bit slow so that you can able to understand. This is because what we are going to now understand is the concept of cyberspace, in which how we are going to make sure we are going to make use of the various laws. So we are going to see each one of them in detail. So let me just turn on the slide and then we'll proceed further. Okay, so whenever we speak about the cyberspace, as I said, it's a technical term for the use of computers and the electronic medium of communication using computer networks broadly. So when we speak about the same, the term has a very wide meaning. It means, when I say very wide meaning, means cyberspace can include computers, the internet, and the computer networks in general, the data, software, everything. So cyberspace is actually the use of computer and the electronic medium of communication using computer networks, right? So over the internet, or over the years, as we have seen, internet has become a very virtual space, right? Right from online business, right from shopping, right from email, right from education, right from social networking, virtual reality, and everything is possible. And all of them comes into the cyberspace, right? So cyberspace is actually used to describe the virtual world of computers and the network of computers which spans across the world. So I'll repeat again. Cyberspace is used to describe the virtual world of computers and the network of computers which spans across the world. So with the advent of internet, cyberspace is now extended to the global network of computers. It is actually an environment that facilitates the interaction between people, the interaction between software, the interaction between the services across the borders. So that will consist of the cyberspace. So when I'm saying that cyberspace is nothing but the technical term for use of the computers and the electronic media for communication, let us understand in much detail, which will get clear as as the further slides I'll just go away. You'll understand it much more detail. But to say it in the gist, I can say that it is something where we use the computers and the electronic medium for doing any communication using computer networks, right? So include everything, right from the computers, the internet, your networking, your data, the software, everything. So let us see how with an internet, what actually had made possible. So with an internet, one thing that made very possible is called as e-commerce. So now electronic commerce or e-commerce is something that has become more popular because of an internet. So e-commerce, which is also known as electronic commerce, is the simplest form, can be defined as buying and selling of goods and the products and services over the internet. So whenever you do any buying on the internet, whenever you do any selling of an internet, whenever you buy any goods on the internet, whenever you sell any goods of an internet, whenever you do any product or services on the internet, everything, each and everything that comes under an e-commerce. So when we say about an e-commerce, e-commerce is the simplest form, is something which can be defined as buying something online, selling online. So buying and selling of goods, products, services, anything online over the internet, we call it as an e-commerce. Okay. So online transaction of money, even if you do a fund transfer from one bank to another account online, plus the data, everything are a part of an e-commerce. Clear so far as of definition is concerned? Any doubt? If you have any doubt of an e-commerce? E-commerce is the simplest form, which is defined as buying and selling of goods and services, I can say, over the internet. Any doubts so far? Okay, Nausin. Okay, fine. Now, since you have understood the definition of an e-commerce, let us proceed further. So, the internet and the www, that is World Wide Web, has given a strong boost to e-commerce. So, only because of an internet and because of www, it has given a strong boost in e-commerce with all the online shopping site, which is now available, with which you can conveniently display what are the products there, what are the services there on the customer. So probably if I want to buy today a refrigerator, so I can just go to Amazon website. On that, I can just for a refrigerator, LG refrigerator, it will show me 15 different types of an images of a refrigerator of an LG along with all its brands. So now everything is made very common, very convenient. So with e-commerce, online shopping sites which conveniently can display all the products and services for the customer. However, very basic system of e-commerce actually emerged very long back. So if you think that e-commerce is actually a new thing, no. Electronic commerce has emerged way back, probably in the 1960s and 70s, with the technology called as EFT, which was an electronic fund transfer. So these technologies enabled organization to exchange the business information and also make a fund transfer electronically, right? So it happened because of an e-commerce. So let us see what are the benefits of an e-commerce. So when we speak about the benefits, I can say there are some of the benefits with e-commerce are, with e-commerce seller can expand their markets to wide areas. So even seller can sell it to the wider area. So for example, if you have opened a shop, probably say in Vadala or in a Ghatkopar, for example. Let's take an example. So if even if you have opened your shop in Ghatkopar, there are chances that the people will only be from Ghatkopar most of the time, right? Or if you have opened a shop in Vadala, people will come out only from Vadala. But then when it's an e-commerce, seller can expand their markets to wider area, maybe nationally, or even it can sell it to internationally and even to the remote areas. So everything is possible because of an e-commerce. That is one great advantage when we speak about an e-commerce. Second feature, customer and merchants can buy and sell products of service anytime, 24/7. So customer can sell all the goods and services 24/7. Third, e-commerce also provides customer with more options and with more detailed options, plus a comparison which you can compare with the other website. So even if you're buying a phone, which every one of us does, even I do. I don't know about you, I to do. So for example, if you want to have a mobile phone, we'll compare the price with the Flipkart and then we'll compare the price with an Amazon. And which is providing with the least price, I'm going to purchase from that. So comparison is easily possible, which is not there physically. For example, if I want to compare the rate of one of the mobile from two different shops, all my time will go waste in just going through one of the shop, from one shop going to the second shop and then compare, which is very easily possible. So e-commerce saves a lot of your time. Plus, customer can and merchant can buy and sell products anytime, 24/7, which is not the case with the legal market, right? The shop remains open from 9 to 6 and you can only go and purchase a mobile phone from 9 to 6. But then with e-commerce, you can purchase and buy and sell everything anytime, 24/7. So there are a lot of advantages with the e-commerce provides to you. E-commerce also provides the customer with more options, more detailed options about the product and services. You at your by staying at your home, you can check the products, you can check the configuration, you can check what are the features of that product, how much camera this mobile provides, or is it gives me a good battery life. Everything you can sit and compare. So it gives you better options. Plus, e-commerce reduces the paperwork. Nowadays, e-commerce encourages digital payments. So you can digitally make any payments, maybe through a Paytm or maybe through a phone pay, or anything is possible through a credit or debit card. Everything is done in an e-commerce website, right? Which is not the case even today in most of the shops. If you go, they will strictly tell you that it has to be cash transaction, or if it's a reputed seller, he will tell you that he is accepting a credit card. But then on the other hand, he will not accept all the payment modes that we have online. Plus, even for using the credit card, he will tell you that you need to pay 2% extra if you're using any credit card. So these are all the problems we have it. But with e-commerce, everything becomes very simpler. Plus, e-commerce enables people to reduce the physical efforts by using online payment option. Like you can pay utility bills by sitting at home. You can buy the movie tickets. I don't know how many of us are going to go to movie now. But then, if you have seen a Book My Show used to provide a movie tickets, you don't need to stand in a line to get a movie ticket, and it's a single click. So you can see, if you see, there are a lot of advantages. Entire day will go even short if I start speaking the advantages of an e-commerce. So e-commerce has a lot of benefits. It also helps the government to promote e-governance. Now, if you see a lot of the, whether it's a GST, maybe a payment of a tax, maybe a government fees, maybe an income tax, everything in life has become very simpler with the use of an e-commerce. So even e-governance has become possible. So e-commerce provides more and more advantages, but one need to ensure that transactions that are made online are done securely. That is what is the main problem. The transactions that are done needs to be done very securely and with genuine parties. So sometimes what happens is you think you're communicating with an Amazon.com, but are you actually sending a payment information to an Amazon.com? Or is there any man in the middle attack or a spoofed email or a spoofed website? We do not know. We have studied a lot of different types of the attacks possible. And we have also seen different types of attacks that an attacker can make use of to get your credit card details and the credit card information. So we'll not go that into detail. We have already seen when we're discussing on the cybersecurity. But then main thing is that we need to aware that where are we doing any transaction. So transaction need to be made very securely and with genuine parties. Also, must be aware that what are the possible financial and cyber fraud that is related to e-commerce. So if somebody does any fraud, then what are the different laws and what you need to do if something wrong happens. So this is what it needs to be aware. But otherwise, taking into considering the advantages, there are a lot and advantages when we speak about an e-commerce. So let us go ahead and see what are the types of e-commerce. Broadly speaking, there are various types of e-commerce, but then typically speaking, there are four main types, or I can say these are the types of an e-commerce which we normally see. Right? So when we speak about the types of an e-commerce, we have B2C, B2B, B2C2B, and C2C. These are some of the type of these are some of the type of an e-commerce. First one, let us start and understand each one of them in detail. So if you can see, we have B2B, B2C, C2C, C2B. So when I say B2B, B2B is nothing but the e-commerce transaction that happens from business to business. So that is the reason the name is B2B, from business to business. So the e-commerce transaction belonging to this category are done between two business organizations. So when there are two business organizations and whenever they are communicating, these transactions are done with the help of business to business transactions. So transaction between the business is actually very large in terms of volume, and it is large also in terms of the value. And that is the reason the transaction between the business typically is large in terms of volume and also in terms of value of the goods and services. So that comes under business to business. So an example, if you ask me, an example would be of a manufacturer procuring any raw material from a seller online. So there are some manufacturer who wants to have any raw material, and that raw material, if he purchases from the seller online, typically like a wholesaler who directly sells it to the buyer or through any platform like India Mart. I hope all of you are aware what is an India Mart is. Right? So India Mart will allow you to have where the wholesaler can directly communicate and which two companies can make a business. So it comes into business to business. Next one is the B2B, B2C. B2C is nothing but the business to consumer. So when we speak about business to consumer, this category of e-commerce is related to transaction that happens between a business and the customer. That is the end user. So if there is any transaction that happens between a business and the consumer, that is the end customer, through any online shopping portal where details of the product is displayed, we called it as it is a category of a business to consumer. Any example? Very simple and very easy question I asked. What is the example of B2B? What will B2C? Sorry. Any example of B2C?
Amazon.
Superb. Yes. So very good. So an example would be a consumer buying any product, say from an online shopping like Amazon.com or maybe a Flipkart.com, comes under business to consumer. Superb. Very good. Third one is what we call it as a consumer to business. So when I say consumer to business, this electronic transaction in which an individual consumer provides a service or a goods to a business and gets paid for it. So in this case, a consumer provides a service. In this case, consumer will create a business and then he'll get paid for doing a business. So a third party platform can be used for doing a business to list down the requirements and connect with the individual who can fulfill it. So typically, an example of this category would be, I will say, where the consumer can take an online survey. So if you have seen, there is an online survey nowadays coming up that consumer can take an online survey on the website like surveymonkey.com. I hope you have heard this domain. Various times you get where we are supposed to, where we have been asked to fill the online survey, like surveymonkey.com, right? Where they ask you that it's a kind of a freelancer job, uh, or you take a freelancing job on a freelancer.com with which you can actually earn a business, right? So it comes under consumer to business. So freelancer.com providing referrals to a job portal or producing any creative content like you make, if a client is making creative content like website, photographs, and he himself as a business comes under consumer to business. And the last one that we have is the consumer to consumer. So any transaction that done, that is a transactions of product or services is between the two and the consumer. So third party usually provides an online platform for consumer to identify, to buy or to sell the product or the services. So third party will provide any online platform and the consumer can then create a business with the consumer. So most common example of this category would be a platform like ebay.com, or you have seen OLX. Very good. Yes, superb. Yes, Mohit. Yes, Pareen. I was going to come there itself. You guessed it very correctly. So most common example of this category is OLX.in, where consumer are doing a business with the consumer for buying or selling the goods online, right? So that comes into consumer and consumer. Very good, very good. So I'm very happy. Yeah. So it comes under the category of a consumer to consumer. Apart from them, there are other categories also, which is not that main, but they're still there are a part of the e-commerce application. Is to government to citizen. That is G2C. So G2C is something which I'm not there in this slide, but then that is also one of the type of e-commerce where there's a relationship between the government organization and the citizen. So this enables the implementation of e-governance where the citizens can interact with the government through the electronic medium and avail all the services through government websites directly. So this will help in reducing the average time and optimizing the resources of the government and also to the citizens. Plus, it will also increase the transparency in the government process. The example like paying the taxes online, plus your registration of a birth certificate, registration of a marriage certificate, or probably registration of a death certificate. So all this will come as a part of government to citizen, where all the communication is happening between a J2C, right? We nowadays are using for many of our requirements. So that comes into the J2C. So I hope this is what it comes under e-commerce. So let us go and understand further about what can be a contract in a cybersecurity and why to have a contract. But before that, are you all clear with the e-commerce? Should we proceed further? Okay, thank you, Mohit. Oh, thank you, Mohit, Yogesh, Chaitanya, Shubham, and Alfia. I can see even after 1.5 hours of the lecture, you all still have the same enthusiasm and still motivated towards it. Very good. It's appreciated. Very good. Uh, super, super. Now, let me just take you towards the next topic, which is on the contract aspects in cybersecurity. I'm happy that you're not tired. So that is what my main intention was. Okay. So coming back to the next topic, which says that a contract aspects in cybersecurity. Now, what is a contract? Why to have a contract? How an electronic contract works? What are use of a contract and what are types of a contract is everything what we are going to learn here. So yes, Chaitanya, thank you so much. Thank you for your appreciation. Yeah. Yeah. So coming back to to the electronic, coming back to the contract aspect in cybersecurity, let us understand first what is a contract, why to make a contract, what is an electronic contract, and what is the use of it. This is everything which we are going to see. So what is a contract first? Contract is nothing but a legal agreement between two or more parties. So when there is a legal agreement between two or more parties, we call it there is a contract. So contract is nothing but a legal binding agreement between two or more parties that are creating a legal obligation for both of them to perform specific promised duties, right? So for example, there is a contract and there is a contract between two different parties and for various reasons, where they promise that they are going to provide a duty such as making a payment, they are going to provide a service, they are going to provide a sale of goods, they are going to provide a sale of property. So if that thing is to be done, it comes under contract. So contract is something which is a mutual agreement, which is a legal agreement between two or more parties that they are going to do whatever they have promised to do. That we call it as a contract. So a contract is said to be discharged or once the obligation for the agreement between parties are fulfilled. So whenever there is an agreement between the two parties, they both legally agree that they are going to complete the given task together. Now it can be anything, as we have seen. It can be any promising, such as making a payment, providing the service, providing a goods, sale of the goods, sale of the services, anything. So contract can be for anything. But then contract is something where two persons agree. And once that once the agreement between the parties are fulfilled, we say that the contract is discharged. When I say contract is discharged, uh, it means the obligation that were there between the two parties are been fulfilled. Right? So these are some of the topics which I would be discussing. That will not be the same way we have been learning a cybersecurity, but these are some of the things which is very important as a cybersecurity and laws are concerned. So when we speak about a contract, breach of the contract should never happen. So as we said, a contract is something between the two parties and they mutually agree that they would be providing with these services. Breach of the contract happens if any of the parties involved in the contract violates the agreement. If somebody violates the agreement, we say that somebody has breached a contract, and breaching a contract is not acceptable. So in that case, if somebody breaches a contract, the other person can actually ask for a compensation, because it was a mutual agreement, it was a legal agreement between the two people, and if the contract is breached or if the breach of contract happens between the two people, then in that case compensation called as damage is awarded to the other party, right? uh, and in some case it can also lead to imprisonment. Now if the situation is that severe, it can also lead to imprisonment. So that is the reason contract is means you are reading the agreement and then you're accepting the agreement, right? One contract or one thing that we always do, if you remember in most of the website, at it down, if you always see whenever you create an account or wherever you create an account in most of the websites, they ask you, I accept terms and conditions, and we just tick mark on that without reading what are the terms and conditions. It means we are accepting that whatever is given, whatever in the mentioned, I am aware and I accept and I agree. If tomorrow, if you have not read that and if you somehow violate, then then it will be damage you have done to a company, and company can again for that do a compensation on you. So always we need to make aware about what are the contracts we are coming up with and what are the things that we are agreeing it upon. So contracts play a key role in the economics of the world. Most business activities, that is a trade between the business, a trade between the government, and a trade between an individual, depends on the contract. They are even common even daily life. So when you buy a movie ticket, you are making a contract with the movie ticket. It means you are paying for a movie ticket and now the other person has to show you a movie. Now if you are paying for a movie ticket and on the other end, the people on the other side are not showing you a movie for any reason, maybe a power failure or maybe any other reasons or maybe any riots or whatever reasons, then they are breaching a contract. Or making a flight reservation. You are doing a flight reservation, you are making a contract with the flight company that they are supposed to take you to the destination. But if they are not doing it, they are breaching a contract. plus booking a cab. So everything can be a part of a daily life. Buying a movie ticket, or if you're making any flight reservation, or if you're booking any cab, if you're booking an Ola and Uber, you are making a contract with that. Or any online shopping. If you do any online shopping, you have paid for the item. That item needs to be delivered by the vendor. If you have purchased something from a Flipkart, Flipkart has to deliver the item to you. If some of it is not done, then they are breaching the contract, right? So buying a movie ticket, booking a cab, online shopping, cable TV subscription. If you're paying for a cable TV for a year, it has to give you a cable TV for 1 year, right? So these are the some of the acts that are governed by the contracts. So if you can see, I've also mentioned the example in my slide, like making a payment, providing the services, sale of the goods, sale of the properties, loan agreement between the buyer and seller from a car. Okay, agreement between two people to be married. If you put an agreement that yes, these two people will be married, you have to marry, right? You have a marriage certificate. You make sure that you both are going to be there a lifetime. So it's an agreement between two people, right? So everything can be a part of a contract. Now let us see, since you have understood what is a contract, let us see how an e-contract are and what is an e-contract, right? Anyone who can have an idea, or you can just try what can be the difference between a contract, that is this contract, or it can be an electronic contract. What can be the difference? Now, let me only explain the answer. Now, when I'm saying about the electronic contract are the contract which are not, I say, paper based. So this contract is something not written on a paper. They are electronic in nature. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, whenever I'm saying electronic contracts are not paper based, they're electronic in nature. Now, to explain this, let me just start you from the beginning. We know from where we started with. So if you remember, whatever I've been discussing on an electronic platform is only because of an internet. So internet has significantly changed the way individuals and business communicate and exchange the data, right? So because of an internet, it has changed the way all the individuals and all the business communicates and they exchange the data. And because of an internet, trade has also increased tremendously between the individuals. People have started doing a communication, people have started using because of an internet. So everything, the trade has also increased because between the individuals, because of an internet. Business organizations have started doing a communication, and also the government beyond geographic boundaries. So everything is possible. With e-commerce, we have seen goods and services can be procured and the payment can be made in seconds. That is how an internet has played a vital role. Plus, with the help of an e-commerce, we have seen that it also increases your speed, it increases your convenience, and it also increases your efficiency of the whole process, right? So the traditional physical contract are not opt for the activities that are carried out on the internet, right? Because when there is a contract on the internet, it might be possible that the trader who are communicating on an internet are from different geographic region. So because traders are from two different geographic regions, will face delay and difficulty in signing a physical contract. So just assume that if you're doing a physical contract with some company in the US countries. So if you're doing any contract between you and someone, your company and someone who is doing a contract with another company who is based in US. So then if you want to do, if you want to come into a contract, it is going to face a delay and difficulty because you both are located at a different geographic region. Whereas with an e-commerce, or sorry, with an e-contract, both the traders or both the parties or both the organization can sign an e-contract instantly by both the parties. Because of this, it will save a lot of time and cost. So that is an advantage when we speak about an e-contract. So e-contracts are that are not paper-based, but that are electronic in nature. These contracts are generally being made for speedy entering into a contract or for the convenience of the party. So probably just think, if the two parties are at a distant location, or if two parties at a different geographic location, or if they are not within the physical boundaries, then this type of an e-contract can be very speedy, right? And it can be convenient to the parties. So they are best made between two parties who live in two different parts of the world, and they have to enter into the agreement. So now, since we know the advantages of an e-contract and what do we mean by an e-contract, e-contract can be classified into three different types. One is the shrink wrap contracts, one is the click wrap contracts, and third one is the browse wrap contract. I'll repeat again. There are three types of e-contract. First one is the just a minute. I'm really sorry since I'm taking lecture for 9 a.m. Just a minute. Okay. Yeah. So I was speaking about there are three types of an e-contract. First one is the shrink wrap contract. Second one is the click wrap contracts, and third one is the browse wrap contract. So we are going to see all the three types in detail. So far, have you understood what is a contract and electronic contract so far? If you're done, then we'll proceed towards the type of e-contract. Any doubts so far? Okay, thank you, Nawaz. Thank you. Thank for the update. Okay, thank Alfia. Yeah. Yeah, Chaitanya, thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, thank you everyone. Now, let us proceed further. And since we have seen the types of an e-contract, let us understand each one of them in detail, right? So we'll start with the first one. I think we have 3 minutes left. I don't know if I'll be able to complete or not. Let me just start with that. If I'm not able to complete this, then probably in the next lecture, that is on Thursday at 1:30, we'll be starting with it. Also, if I would be taking an extra lecture, then I would be messaging in the group so that you will be aware. But then I'll have to take into consideration, since all of you are from different streams, I need to select a common time when all of you would be available. But that is only if it is required. So if I'll schedule an extra lecture, that will be intimated to you on the group so that you can join. For time being, those who have not updated their details, please request you to do that. UI number, name, and the roll number. So let us start with the first one, that is a shrink wrap contracts. So when I say a shrink wrap contracts, these are the contracts in which it works based on the software, maybe the database or maybe the image collections, right? So if you see, there are some, what you can say. Okay, by just looking at the image, can you just make out what is a shrink wrap contracts? Anyone can guess what can be shrink wrap contracts? Okay, I think I'll only say, we have lack of time. Okay, I'll only say what happens. Now, shrink wrap contract says that, yes, Chaitanya, correct, license. So it says that this is a CD, if you can see, by opening it, you are agreeing the license agreement. Then only if you are accepting the license agreement, then you will open the CD. If you open, you will be agreed to the license agreement. If you do not open, you will not be entitled to the license agreement. So somehow, if you open the license, if you are opening the package, you are consent and to be bound to its license agreement. And if you do not agree to all the terms and agreement which is given, you need to return the unopened product to the place of a purchase for a full refund. So, but then if you are opening any the CD, or if you're opening any package, then you are entitled to bound by the license agreement, and you are bound by the agreement. So if you open it, you are under the agreement. If you do not open, then you are not bound by the agreement. That comes under the shrink wrap contracts. So we'll end it here. We'll again meet up in the next lecture on Thursday. Thank you everyone for joining in. I hope you had a good time. Please write your details if you have not done, and we'll meet up again at Thursday at 1:30.